It is a big deal when I want it to be, and at the same time, like it's not really a big.
A headline hits social media faster than an Emirates jet leaves the runway. Sabalenka goes off after Emirates signs Alex Eala to a $2 million per year deal. Facebook, Instagram, Threads, everywhere all at once. It spread the way rumors always spread now, not through a press release, not through a verified source, but through screenshots passed from one account to another until nobody remembered where it actually started. And the timing made it feel unstoppable. It dropped right after Aryna Sabalenka's shocking Wimbledon exit, which meant it landed on top of a moment already dripping with drama. Perfect timing, perfect emotion, perfect bait for anyone scrolling with their thumb on autopilot. There was just one problem. It never happened, not a piece of it. And once you actually slow down and look at what did happen, the truth turns out to be far more interesting than the fiction, because the real story isn't about a fake contract at all. It's about how easily a lie can travel farther than a fact, and about a 21-year-old who had to watch it happen to her own name. Here's what actually happened. On January 15, 2026, Emirates signed Aryna Sabalenka, not Alex Eala, as its first-ever global tennis ambassador in a partnership reportedly worth around $2 million a year. It was announced properly. It was covered by multiple sports outlets. It was an unveiling, an aircraft, a rollout that looked exactly like what a real seven-figure sponsorship is supposed to look like. Alex Eala's name was never anywhere near that contract. Not in the fine print, not in a footnote, not in a single verified document. And yet somehow, a 21-year-old Filipina, ranked number 32 in the world, became the face of a deal she never signed. Her name got stapled onto Sabalenka's headline like a sticker slapped over someone else's product. And what Alex actually said about it, in her own words, is something the internet conveniently skipped past on its way to the next viral post. We're going to get to that, because it matters more than the fake headline ever did. But before we go further, I want your prediction, because this story isn't just about looking backward. Which global brand do you think actually signs Alex Eala to her first real, verified, seven-figure international endorsement? Not a rumor, not a screenshot. An actual announcement with a real number behind it. And here's the harder question. Does it happen before the US Open wraps up in September, or does it take longer than that? Drop your prediction in the comments. Name the brand, name the month. When the real deal eventually lands, we'll come back and see exactly who called it first. Now let's rewind the tape, because the timing of all this is where the story really gets interesting. 48 hours before that fake Emirates post exploded online, Alex Eala walked onto center court and did something nobody outside her most loyal fans expected. She beat defending Wimbledon champion Iga Swiatek in straight sets, 7-6, 6-2, not a close scare, not a lucky bounce. A genuine, statement-making win over one of the best players in the world, on one of the biggest stages tennis has to offer. That win changed everything about how people were talking about her. And it's exactly why the timing of the fake Emirates rumor matters so much. Because for a moment, two completely different stories were unfolding at the exact same time, and most people online couldn't tell which one was real. On one side, you had Aryna Sabalenka, the world number one, standing in front of a specially branded Emirates A380 in Dubai, becoming the airline's first ever individual tennis ambassador. Genuine partnership, genuine ceremony, genuine money changing hands. On the other side, you had Alex Eala, quietly climbing the rankings with a sponsor list that was completely real but far less flashy: Nike, Babolat, Globe Telecom, BPI. Real deals, real relationships, built the boring, unglamorous way that actual careers get built. Not one airline anywhere on that list. Then the internet stepped in and decided that wasn't a good enough story. Nearly identical posts started spreading across Facebook and Instagram, claiming Emirates had signed Eala to the same $2 million figure, the same unlimited first-class travel language, even a fabricated name for a promotional program that never existed anywhere outside of someone's imagination. And here's the detail that gives the whole thing away if you actually stop and read closely. The wording felt strangely familiar. That's because it was stolen. Someone took Sabalenka's real, legitimate partnership announcement, swapped out the name, swapped out the photo, hit publish, and watched the engagement numbers climb. Changed the name, swapped the photo, pressed publish. And it worked. Not because it was well-researched, not because anyone verified it. It worked because millions of people wanted it to be true. They wanted Alex Eala to have that moment, that validation, that big splashy number attached to her name. And wanting something to be true is a powerful force online, powerful enough to make a fabricated post outrun a real one. But wanting something doesn't make it reality, and eventually reality always catches up. So let's put the two timelines side by side and look at exactly where they diverge. On January 15, 2026, Emirates officially announced Sabalenka's partnership. Multiple sports publications independently confirmed the agreement, reporting a deal worth around $2 million per year, including premium travel benefits and a high-profile aircraft unveiling in Dubai. Every piece of that story checks out. Now look at Eala's timeline. Within weeks, social media posts began claiming she had signed the exact same deal, the same salary figure, the same travel perks, even the same promotional language, recycled almost word for word. Fact-checkers who actually investigated the claims found no evidence whatsoever, no contract, no announcement, no statement from Emirates, no statement from Eala's team. The posts were completely fabricated, from the headline down to the smallest detail. And unfortunately, this wasn't an isolated incident. Over the past year, Alex has repeatedly been linked to imaginary mega-contracts involving luxury brands, sporting goods companies, and even billionaire investors who supposedly wanted to back her career. Each fake endorsement somehow managed to top the last one, as if the rumor mill kept raising its own stakes just to see how far it could push the story before someone noticed. That pattern is the real story here, not one fake headline, but a recurring habit. The villain in this story isn't Aryna Sabalenka. She didn't create the rumor, didn't spread it, and has nothing to do with it beyond the coincidence of a shared number. The real villain is an online culture that keeps manufacturing fictional success stories instead of simply appreciating the very real achievements Alex is already earning on her own. Ironically, the person most affected by all of this isn't some faceless brand or a confused fanbase. It's Alex herself, who has to watch her name get attached to deals she never made, and then has to decide how to respond to something that isn't even true, which makes what she actually said during an Abu Dhabi press conference earlier this season even more impressive than it might sound at first. When a reporter asked her directly about the fake reports, she didn't get defensive. She didn't lash out. She stayed completely calm, and she gave an answer that honestly should have gotten more attention than the fake story it was responding to. She said, "I don't have power over what other people post. I know there are a lot of fake news articles, and it's concerning because sometimes they receive so much attention." Read that again. No anger, no drama, no accusations aimed at anyone, just a clear-eyed, honest acknowledgement of a situation she can't fully control. At only 21 years old, she showed a level of maturity that plenty of tour veterans, people twice her age with far more experience handling media scrutiny, still struggle to match. Then came Wimbledon, and suddenly none of the fake headlines mattered anymore, because reality delivered something bigger than any fabricated contract ever could. On July 4, Eala delivered the biggest victory of her career by defeating five-time Grand Slam champion and defending Wimbledon winner Iga Swiatek. Just like that, the entire conversation around her name shifted. It wasn't about imaginary sponsorships anymore. It was about her tennis, which is exactly where the conversation should have been all along. The fans who had believed in her potential long before the mainstream noticed finally felt vindicated, and not because of a fake contract validating their belief, but because of an actual result they could point to. They didn't need fake headlines. They had real results, and real results are a lot harder to argue with. Meanwhile, something equally surprising was unfolding on the other side of the draw. One day later, Aryna Sabalenka suffered a straight-sets defeat to Naomi Osaka, marking her first straight-set loss at a Grand Slam in years. In her post-match press conference, Sabalenka admitted, with a mix of humor and honesty, that she planned to get drunk to forget the disappointment. Sit with how fast the spotlight shifted. The player with the genuine, headline-making Emirates partnership was heading home early. The player who had been falsely rumored to have that exact same deal had become one of the biggest stories left in the entire tournament. If you were only reading headlines and not paying close attention, you might have thought the story had it backwards. Here's another detail that a lot of people completely missed while they were busy sharing fake headlines. Back in February, while those fabricated sponsorship rumors were still circulating online, Eala visited Nike's world headquarters in Beaverton, Oregon. That visit actually happened. It was documented. It was official, confirmed, and real in every sense that the Emirates rumor was not. While social media was chasing a fictional headline, Alex was quietly building genuine relationships behind the scenes with one of the biggest sports brands on the planet. That's how real careers actually get built, not through viral posts, not through fabricated numbers designed to farm engagement, but quietly, professionally, one meeting at a time, far away from the noise. If you want to understand just how much respect Alex earned at Wimbledon, don't listen to anonymous social media accounts with no verification and no accountability. Listen instead to the woman she actually defeated on the court. After losing on center court, Iga Swiatek openly praised Alex's performance in her own press conference. She highlighted her aggressive baseline game. She highlighted her composure under pressure, the kind of composure that doesn't usually show up this early in a career. She highlighted her fearless shot-making, the willingness to go for winners at the exact moments when most players tighten up. And most importantly, she acknowledged plainly that Alex deserved the win. When a defending Wimbledon champion spends her own press conference explaining why you were simply the better player that day, that carries more weight than any fictional endorsement announcement ever could. No fake contract can manufacture that kind of respect. Only performance can earn it, and Alex earned it in front of a global audience with no room for spin. Now step back and zoom out, because the fake Emirates story actually reveals something bigger than itself. The Philippines, with more than 100 million people and one of the largest, most passionate global fan communities in all of sports, has never truly had a WTA superstar capable of capturing international commercial attention on this scale. People aren't inventing these fake sponsorship stories because Alex lacks potential. They're inventing them because they genuinely believe she's destined for something enormous, and they don't want to wait for it to happen the slow, real way. The demand is already there waiting, and now, for the first time, real brands are watching too. Her Nike visit happened, her Wimbledon breakthrough happened, and the next set of opportunities is already approaching on the calendar. The US Open Series is coming. Flushing Meadows is coming. After that, the Asian hard-court swing, where Filipino fans traditionally create some of the loudest, most electric atmospheres found anywhere on the entire tour. If Alex builds on her Wimbledon performance with another deep run at any of those events, the first global company willing to make a genuine, verified major investment in her could end up reshaping the landscape of Asian tennis endorsements for years to come. Sabalenka's Emirates partnership may have set today's benchmark for what a top-tier tennis endorsement looks like. Alex Eala now has a real, earned chance to set tomorrow's. Her Wimbledon journey eventually came to an end in the round of 16 against Jasmine Paolini. She fought hard. She had genuine chances to win, but the match slipped away from her in the end, the way even great runs eventually do for almost everyone who isn't lifting the trophy. What she did afterwards says everything about who she actually is. She didn't respond to the fake Emirates rumors that were still floating around. She didn't comment on Sabalenka, didn't engage with any of the noise at all. Instead, she shared an Instagram reel simply thanking Filipino fans for making center court feel like home. Once again, she quietly refused to let a manufactured controversy distract from what actually mattered: the tennis, the fans, the moment she had genuinely earned. So let's return to exactly where this story began. Aryna Sabalenka never attacked Alex Eala. Emirates never signed Alex Eala. Those are simply facts, verified, documented, and easy to check. But a 21-year-old from the Philippines visited Nike headquarters on her own merit, defeated the defending Wimbledon champion on one of tennis's biggest and brightest stages, and responded to every single fake headline aimed at her with nothing but quiet, consistent professionalism. The Emirates plane took off in January, carrying the name of the world's #1 player. By July, that same player was leaving Wimbledon early, disappointed, and honest about it. Meanwhile, the young woman who never signed the imaginary contract, who never asked for the fake headlines, had become one of the most talked-about players in the entire tournament, for reasons that were completely, verifiably real. If you believed in Alex before the rest of the tennis world caught on, this Wimbledon run was your confirmation. You don't need a fabricated headline to feel validated when the proof arrives on center court in front of the entire world. Now it's your turn again. Which brand do you believe eventually signs Alex Eala to her first verified global 7-figure endorsement? Does it happen before the US Open concludes, Or does it take longer than that? Leave your prediction below. Name the brand, name the month. Let's see who gets it right. When the real announcement finally comes, and based on everything we've seen so far, it feels like a question of when rather than if, we'll all be able to look back at this exact list of comments and see who called it first. And if you want coverage built on verified news instead of viral fiction, subscribe and stay with us. We'll be following every match, every genuine endorsement, and every major real moment on Alex Eala's journey as the next chapter of her career unfolds.